Hello, hello, hello. I am here. Do you get so frustrated when anytime you go to Facebook, it makes you log back in all the time and you always have to say, yes, this was me, and please remember this browser, which is the same browser I used yesterday. Oh my goodness. So, here I am. I'm here. Carmen, for those of you who do not know me, I am a myofunctional therapist. I have a global worldwide practice, and that means that I see people for teletherapy. So, this I do all the time. I educate here every week. I train, I speak, I write, I do all the things myofunctional therapy. So, uh, you're in luck because today I'm going to be short winded. I know sometimes I'm always honking your ear off, but I'm going to just get with it today. We are going to talk about why it is important to trust your myofunctional therapist. And this really kind of comes on the heels of the fact that I have had so many clients jumping ship. And it kind of breaks my heart. I mean, sure, it helps my business, but it kind of breaks my heart because it tells me that we're missing something out there. So I wanted to just touch on that because I don't think that people just, jump ship for no reason, but there's got to be a reason. So first of all, the first thing I want to say is the reason that it's so important to trust your myofunctional person is you guys have to work together. You got to be dorks together. I mean, for what I teach people, and I always have my tongue hanging out of my face. I chew up my food and show it to people. We have to be comfortable with each other. So this person is also going to guide you. I'm going to be that person that pushes you through hard times. Many people come to me and they say, Carmen, I can't do that. And I say, well, you're gonna. The good thing is I've never had somebody not be able to get something. Now, with that said, it takes a little bit of time. I totally get that. But I've never had a client who couldn't do what I was asking them to do. Sometimes we had to turn it on its head and come at it from a little bit different angle, which is okay. That's why I'm here. So to guide you, really, to push you. I also am going to help you build your comprehensive health team. So I'm not going to hand pick these people for you in most cases. Now, as my practice grows bigger and bigger around the world, I do have partners that I've worked with in states. Many of you guys know that my goal is to get one person in each state. Holy cow, that's a huge task because not everybody gets what I do. They don't understand the importance of it. They don't understand the concern with tongue ties and airway and sleep disordered breathing and poor sleep quality. All of those things cause you to have problems being a vital, healthy person. And if you want to be a vital, healthy person, total sidebar, let me pop it up here real quick so you can see the link. I recently taught a webinar about becoming a vital, healthy person. And really, I pick apart 6 things that you should know. So that will help you do that. Let me go back here. So when I'm working with somebody and I'm saying, okay, I see that you have all of these concerns with myofunctional impairment. You have a tongue tie. You have an airway crisis. You have crowding issues. You have congestion problems or nasal patency issues, which means if I have you demonstrate that you can nasal breathe for me and you can't, then we have to kind of get to the bottom of that to figure out why you can't nasal breathe. Is it because you're just so congested from mouth breathing? Is it because you're so congested from mouth breathing and eating dairy and having fluffy sleep on your pillow at night? Whatever is causing that inflammatory response that's causing that congestion, we got to figure that out. But it can be more than that. It can be a deviated septum. It can be swollen turbinates. It could be polyps. I mean, it can be so many different things. So I'm helping you build your team. And what it boils down to is I feel like I'm the hub of the wheel, me meaning your myofunctional therapist. So if you do not trust that person, if you do not just wholeheartedly trust in the direction that they're taking you, then it's important to have that conversation, because they're going to be helping you do these important things, guiding you, pushing you, and helping you build your team. And so that's why I find that it's really important. So what that looks like for me, I can only give you obviously the scenario of working with me, but just so you have something to compare it with. So when somebody works with me, 100% of the time they get a step-by-step framework. We never just fly by the seat of our pants. I never just say, oh, well, today I'm going to go ahead and give you this. Every single client, every single therapy plan that I put out there has this step-by-step framework. And you guys know this, I get on my soapbox, I will argue all the time, because people say, well, nobody is a cookie cutter case. And I absolutely agree with that. But I will tell you this, I still teach everybody the same thing in the same order for the most part, for the biggest pieces, the biggest skeleton of my therapy plans. So that means whether it's Jane or whether it's John, they're all going to do exercise A, then exercise B, then C, then D. We're never going to just jump around and do it out of order. Now, there might be some things that need to be customized along the way, but 100% of the time, my clients are going to do this swallowing section before they do this swallowing section. So that's what I mean by the step-by-step framework. So I will tell you this, if you are working with somebody who doesn't seem like to have that organization, ask questions. I get a lot of people who reach out to me just kind of as a second opinion. You know, they're already working with somebody, they don't want to upset the apple cart, so they reach out to me. And my suggestion is, I'm not going to, I'm happy to give advice, but I'm not going to go stepping on the toes of somebody else who you will not even have the guts to talk to. Now, what I mean by that is, if you have a concern that it's disorganized, or if you have a concern that you're not making advances, then you need to ask those questions, okay? Because a lot of you reach out to me and you want to vent, but you don't want to talk to your own therapist. So trust in the process, and you hired that person, you paid, so they're your person. You got to figure out how you can make it work. So that is what to do if you already have a myofunctional therapist that you're struggling with, okay? Before you jump ship, try and work it out. Try and figure out how you guys can make that happen. The next thing is, okay, so what to do if you don't? I've got a whole lot of things to throw at you. The first thing is, if you do not have a myofunctional therapist, you've got to get your person. Like I said, we're the hub of the wheel, and we're going to help you do everything else. So if you're like me and you like to do a little bit of research before you really talk to a human being, I'm all for that. So at the bottom of any one of my blogs, you can get my downloadable assessment tool. There's an adult one, there's a child one. It asks you the most important 25 questions that I go through during a comprehensive exam. So it's going to give you a chance to kind of dig deep and say, oh, is this a concern for me? Is this a concern for me? Without somebody like me staring at you. So you can do that at the bottom of any one of my blogs. I already told you about watching the Vital Healthy Person video. Watch that, and it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. So walk yourself through that. Make sure you have that downloadable assessment tool when you do that, because as I walk you through the video, which I'll put it up here again for you, as I walk you through that video, I'm telling you, okay, this applies to this question, this applies to this question. So by the end of that, you're going to be saying, hey, Carm, I have some concerns and I want to know what to do next, okay? So then let me put this up also. So like I said, at the bottom of any one of my blogs, you can get the tools. And when I say tools, there's the assessment tool, and then there's also some sleep tools for people who are interested in sleep hygiene. Next, after that, so if you want to start there, perfect. If you don't, you can just schedule a complimentary 30-minute assessment with me. This is not an exam. Um, More so, it is meant to answer your questions. Meet me. See if you like me. You might not be able to stand working with me for 12 sessions or a year. You may hate my voice, whatever. Um, it's important that you make sure that we're a match. Now, with that said, I also have to make sure that it's a match. So if you're going to be a struggle for me to work with, I politely pass on that because I never want to dread meeting any of my clients. I love it. I look forward to it every day. So that road goes both ways. Um, so at that assessment, we talk about why you're talking to me, what you have concerns with, what you think your symptoms are. Ultimately, I'm trying to figure out if it makes sense for you to pay me for an exam, because the last thing I ever want you to do is pay me money for an exam and then I say that you're fine, which has never happened, by the way, but I suppose the day might come. So you can do that assessment, or if you know that you have concerns, just jump into that comprehensive exam. Everybody has to do this. Everybody has to send the pictures. Everybody has to answer the questions. That helps me do a couple things. A, it helps me educate you so you know what your concerns are. I don't want to start therapy with somebody who does not understand why they need therapy and do not see the value in it, because I can't want it more than you, bottom line. And then the other thing is I use it to plan your therapy. So that is how we determine, are you going to be with me for 12 sessions? Are you going to be stuck with me for a year? What do you want to do? What are your goals of therapy? So that's what we do there. So if you don't want to waste time with a free 30-minute assessment, then don't. Just jump into your exam. That's totally fine. All right. I've got that all out there. So I think you get my drift on why you need to really find your person. You need to make sure that you trust them, that you like them. And if you don't, I want you to try and work it out rather than send emails and vent, because sometimes it might just be a perception, it might just be choice of words, that kind of stuff. But ask. And if you're considering working with somebody, make sure that you ask whether they have a step-by-step framework. What are they going to do if there is an incomplete release, if there's a tongue tie? What are they going to do if there's reattachment? Every client that I work with, I have a plan. I know exactly what I'm going to do up to that point, and we're not just flying by the seat of our pants. So try and figure it out, but don't reach out and send emails if you aren't willing to fight for yourself, because I'm not going to fight for you. You got to be willing to do it. So some tough love there, you guys. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about next week? I am going to be talking about the color of your airway. So you might not know what I mean by that, and you'll find out next week. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Also, if you have not joined the Tongue Tie and Myofunctional Therapy support group, that is the support group that I have. And there's a lot of therapists in there. There's a lot of other professionals. It's a great place to get your questions answered. I try and really stay on top of the comments and the quality of comments that are going on in there. Solicitation, that kind of stuff, I don't allow it to happen in there. So it's a place that I'm there to help you, and so is the community. And share information. Remember, we have an extensive blog. If there is somebody in your life that has these concerns, open mouth breathing, low resting tongue posture, tongue ties, sleep apnea, any of those things, share the information with them, because that's the only way a lot of people learn about these concerns. I'll be back here next week. See you then.